Hello everybody, I'm Michael Green from Penn State College of Medicine, Professor of Humanities and Internal Medicine there, and board member of the Giraffe Medicine International Collective. This is an activity known as Drawing Together, which we've been doing on a regular basis since the beginning of the pandemic. And this particular activity is one that was done live in June, and I'm recording it so that you can repeat it if you want, or if you missed it, you can go about trying to have the experience of those who did have the opportunity to do it live. The activity today is about dialoguing with yourself, and I will get into the details of it in a moment. But to start, I want you to just get warmed up a little bit, get in the mood of drawing, and take your guards down. And so to do that, we're going to just start by doing a warm-up exercise that is something I learned from Linda Berry, who does this all the time at her workshops. And it's an activity where you draw with your eyes closed. So what I would like you to do is get out a piece of paper. Can be copy paper or a notebook or something, and we're going to just close your eyes and draw it. You can get out like a Sharpie or a Flair pen, something dark so that you can see it. And what I would like you to do is close your eyes, set a timer for a minute. I'll set a timer, but you don't want to watch me during that time. So on this video, you can set your own timer. And close your eyes, start right now, and draw a mermaid. Go. All right, let's do another one. Ready? Close your eyes, get out a new piece of paper, and draw a giraffe. Don't forget to add the spots. Go for the full 1 minute. Keep your hand moving. Don't peek. All right, stop. Let's move on to the next part of this activity. It's going to take about 15 minutes total. And I just want you to start thinking about some voices that you may have that don't get a lot of attention. Look, with so many of the staggering events going on in the world around us, it's really kind of hard to wrap your head around it all. We've got this global pandemic, which never seems to be ending. We have terrible unemployment, the worst since the Great Depression. We're reckoning with widespread inequity and systemic racism. Politics is crazy with the election, with Brexit. With all kinds of disharmony among people, which seems to be getting worse. We have global warming. It's a mess, and it's really a lot to deal with. And so these days it seems even more chaotic than usual, and it inevitably is going to give rise to a lot of questions. And it's kind of hard to make sense of it all sometimes. So perhaps we can find some answers to the questions we may have by accessing parts of ourselves that we might not dialogue with on a regular basis. The comic artist Meg John Barker described that we all have a plurality of selves within us that respond to the world in very different ways. For instance, we have the parts of us that's happy, and the parts of us who are angry, and the part of us who's embarrassed, and the part of us who's frightened and sad, and they're all part of us. It's not like only one is authentic and the other are not, but we have a tendency to listen to only one of those selves, like the frightened one or the angry one, and not give a lot of time and attention to the other parts of ourselves, which may have something important to say. So this exercise is intended to give the other selves an opportunity to speak and to be heard. The activity was modified from something that I came across in the New York Times Diary Project. It was by Anders Nilsson, which he published. We do have his permission to use this activity, and I had a conversation with him about it, and I've modified it a little bit for our purposes. But let's give it a try and see how it goes. So to get started, I get out a few pieces of paper and at least 2 colors to work with, maybe a black and blue or a red and a green, whatever. You pick your colors, but it should be something in marker or ink or paint, color pencil, something that is going to be dark enough that you can see it quite easily. And the other thing you'll need are a few pieces of paper, and we're going to fold it in half this way. And then open it back up. So we got this, open it up, and then what I want you to do is draw a border about a 1/2 inch around the edges. It looks like this, and then also draw a border and then along the crease, so you have kind of 2 pages. All right, and on the left side of the page, I want you to draw a simple character that represents you, and just use line, shape, and color to do this. It shouldn't look like you. It doesn't need to even have a face. It doesn't have to be representational. It can be abstract or symbolic. Maybe it's a silhouette, but just a shape that represents you. And just take about a minute and do this. All right, so I came up with this. On the right side of the page, using a different color or a different medium, I want you to draw another character that represents a part of you that hasn't been getting a lot of attention lately. Maybe it's your wise self, or maybe it's a future self who returned with something to tell you. Maybe it's a childish part of you, or an older part of you, whatever. Again, this can be abstract or symbolic, not realistic. And the character can be facing the first one, or looking up, or looking down, or maybe even facing away. If you wish, you can draw with your non-dominant hand to make it look really different. And just take another minute and do this. And I'm going to do it in black just so you can see when I hold it up, but use a different color than black. All right, certainly nothing spectacular on my part. All right, so now what I want you to do is have one of these faceless characters ask the other character a question and begin a conversation. So I had one of these characters ask the other one, "What's frustrating you?" And this is the beginning of a conversation. So now what I want you to do is get out some more pieces of paper, do the same thing, fold it in half, draw a panel around it, and continue the conversation. And spend about 3 minutes on each of these panels and just see where the conversation goes. One of the characters asked a question, the other one now responds to the question, and just keep adding panels and having this dialogue until either time runs out or until the conversation ends. You can have, this is 2 panels per page if you want. You can have 4 panels per page. You just need to fold it into quarters and draw the panels that way, however you want to do it. But have that dialogue continues, 3 minutes per panel, total of 9 minutes. You can set your own timers to do this. And just see where the conversation goes, and maybe something interesting will happen and you'll learn something. And that's it. So I hope by doing this exercise you learn something about yourself and the world, and that it helps you feel a little bit better about things, and that you come up with some answers to some questions that have been vexing you. Remember, if you're interested in doing so, you can post these dialogues to social media or post them on the Graphic Medicine website. To do this, just tag them using hashtag Graphic Medicine GM, and that will get you there. So thanks for taking the time, and enjoy the rest of your day.